Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. We're having a new day, which means it's time for 3 new stories on this topic, and the first of them. Get mistaken as an employee, and I turn into She-Hulk. About 6 years ago, I worked as a phone rep for a telecom company. They had a security rule that you needed to wear a lanyard with your photo ID tag visible at all times. Otherwise, security could get you into trouble. After a while of working there, I totally forgot that I was wearing it. After this incident, I put myself into the habit of always removing it and putting in my purse when I left work. One day after work, the boyfriend husband, to be referred to as BH, and I stop at our local wholesale seller that starts with a C and ends with an O. I like to go during the week since it's less crowded and noisy. I have PTSD and borderline personality disorder, so crowds and loud noises are really hard for me to handle at times. The BH is not only my partner in life, but also acts as my emotional lifeline if I get triggered. He hates it when I refer to him as my service animal. Anyhoozles, we've been there for about 10 minutes when my bladder reminds me that having a large tea at 3 p.m. might not have been the best idea, and we should probably find the restroom soon. I grab my cell phone, but leave my jacket and purse with the BH and head to the restroom. BH walks me as far as he can, then waits with the cart in the book section that's about 20 feet or so away from where I duck into the washrooms. I usually text him when I'm coming back out and he can meet up with me. Now I have to admit I was wearing a red dress shirt that day, but never in my wildest dreams did I even expect to be mistaken as an employee who wears a red vest. I'm on my way back to BH, who I can see about 20 feet away, when a woman, now to be referred to as Stupid Lady, or SL, talks to me as I'm walking by her. BL, do you know where some item is? Me, no, sorry. And I start along my merry way to BH. SL, excuse me? Trigger 1, yelling at me. Yay. Heart rate goes up, butterflies start in stomach. I stop dead in my tracks and turn back to her and just stare at her. What the heck? She stalks up to me and practically snarls, SL, where do you think you're going? She's like less than a foot away from me, leaning forward, very combative stance. Trigger 2. Invade my personal space. I can feel my face growing hot and red as I get angry / scared / panicked. Me. Excuse me? SL. You need to do your job and help me find the dumb item. I then realize that she thinks I work there and that I should probably defuse the situation and get my triggered butt out of there. So I do the stupid thing and speak to her as if I'm trying to get away from her and over to BH so I can calm down. I see him out of the corner of my eye as I start to turn that he's noticed me and is coming towards me. Me. Oh, sorry, I don't work. Herk! Trigger 3. Grab my lanyard and pull on it, in effect strangling me. We have a winner, folks. She-Hulk is now engaged. Warning, warning. Yes, she actually grabbed my lanyard and pulled on it so I couldn't leave. And the world for me completely disappeared. I'm told that I froze for a moment, shrieked, knocked her away from me, and then lunged at her with my hands out. Fortunately, BH has the reflexes of a cheetah and managed to intercept me before I had a chance to rip her eyes, or quite possibly throat out. He gets me onto the floor where I dissolve into tears. Next thing I know is that, yes, I am indeed on the floor. There's not only several employees / managers there, but also security. I flip out and dissolve into sorries and tears again. I hear SL shrieking at the manager for hiring unstable people to work in the store, and she wants to press charges and sue the store. The manager's trying to get a word in edgewise that I don't actually work there. BH, however, is being awesome and helping me calm down. Once I'm just down to the shakes, he puts my coat around my shoulders, stands up, and walks calmly toward the lady and the manager. Word of note about BH, he's a goofball, loves to joke and kid around. He's the king of dry wit and bad puns. He's almost always smiling, except when he's mad. He shuts down and becomes very stiff and quiet. It's creepy and scary, and until that day, I hadn't really seen it directed at another living human at that time. Up till then, it was just a rage at video games. SL. I want her arrested and charged for assaulting me. Just wait until I speak to my lawyer. I'm going to own your butt when I'm through with you. BH. Go ahead. Call the police. It won't do you any good. SL turns to him and practically growls at him. You stay out of this. BH, no. You can shut your stupid mouth and listen to someone for once. Or if you don't shut it, I will finish what my wife started. He said this calmly and quietly, only emphasizing that I'm his wife. SL's mouth snaps shut and she gets a little bug-eyed. BH, as I was saying, call the police. I want to press charges on behalf of my wife against this woman for assaulting her. Also, please call an ambulance. She has red marks on her neck from where this, dear gods, he snarled that word, it was freaky, woman tried to strangle my wife. SL, I did no such thing. BH, yes you did. He projected that. Didn't yell, just was heard over SL's flip out. Again, SL's mouth snaps closed and she's even more bug-eyed. BH, there are what? He looks up and counts 5, 6 cameras pointed in this area. My wife tried to leave and this woman grabbed her tag holder and pulled her back so hard that it left marks on her neck. My wife, who has PTSD, was triggered by that and tried to fight back. She has no control. We have documentation from her doctors in regards to that in the car if you need it. SL, well, story begins with C and ends with O, shouldn't be employing people with mental issues where they can hurt normal people. She should be locked up and BH. Listen, you stupid, ignorant B. If you would get your head out of your butt for even a microsecond, you would have realized she does not work here. And you have criminally assaulted another customer. Am I getting through to your little pea brain now? And yes, he totally lost his cool completely with her at the end of that. I love this man deeply. He's my knight in slightly dented and rusting armor. He's my lifeline and my little bit of sanity when mine takes a brief vacation. But when he gets mad, it's time to step back and calm down. The woman went white, took a step back away from us. She looked at him, the manager, me, then back to BH, then the manager. Manager. I tried to explain that to you. SL then dissolves into apologies and is trying to backpedal her stupid butt out of there before she gets herself into more trouble and backpedals into the police officers the store had called. To make it already long story a little bit shorter, we explained our side, she explained hers, the manager showed the video, they took pictures of my neck, and SL got a nice new pair of stainless steel bracelets. And our second story. It's okay, I don't get paid enough to care. So this happened about 3 weeks after I started my old job. Late November last year, I got a job in customer service with a collections agency that went through staff like a boss babe goes through her Facebook friends. Our training was 3 weeks intensive, and in that time, myself and the 7 other unfortunate B-words who signed up with me didn't interact with the other 60-plus employees on the call center. We were asked if we wanted to go to our company Christmas party at some point through our training, and despite not knowing anyone, I figured any opportunity to put on a suit and drink myself stupid was a damn good one, so I accepted. The party rolls around, and it's at a swanky golf club in the countryside. I do my best to mingle, but everyone knows CS employees last as long as 16-year-olds in heat, so no one paid me much attention. It's worth mentioning at this point that I'm in my suit trousers and waistcoat, which make me look surprisingly like the venue's catering staff. I'm a smoker, so I frequently went out front to take a minute and brush off the fact that people didn't know me or want to talk. About 11:30, after all the food had been served, I walk out the revolving doors, light a cig, and hear a middle-ish aged drunk colleague I'd already met whilst wearing my suit jacket say to her friend, "That food was effing awful. Oh God, there's one right there." Looking straight at me, I kind of look her up and down and shrug. She takes a drag, puffs out her chest a little. "For the amount our company paid, I expected it to be so much better, and my food was cold." At this point, it's been 3 hours. I'm drunk, pretty fed up, and this is the most I've gotten anyone outside of my fellow trainees to say to me since I got here, so I went along with it. "It's okay, lady. They don't pay me enough to care." The look on her face more than made up for the crappy food I, of course, had to eat as well. She was livid, spluttering about getting my manager and sorting out my attitude. Again, I shrugged and went back into the venue to enjoy my last half hour of awkward small talk. The night went on until the first half of us were piling into the 72-seater we'd hired to take us back to our work town. I get on, and in the first couple of rows, I see C sitting there with her friend, and she just goes off on one. "Why the F are you on the bus? It's for employees of company only. Mark," our manager sitting in front of her, "tell this F-wit to get off. Trying to get a free ride and complain to his manager?" I'm completely done at this point. Evening's been crap. I'm starting to sober up. I just keep walking and sit down near the back. I'd only met Mark 2 or 3 times, but it was damn funny listening to him try to convince this woman that I did the same job as her. She didn't look me in the eye for the next 6 months, and I never did get an apology. And for dessert, our third story. IDWHL, but I'll pretend to for free tacos. I worked at a bar downtown when I was in college. Next door to my bar was a popular Tex-Mex joint. We had a pretty good setup. College kids would pregame there, come next door, get hammered, then drunk stumble back to them for late-night nachos. One night, we were slow, so my boss sent me home. I decided to stop by our favorite business partner's place to grab some food, and when I walk in, the manager tells me they're shutting down. Apparently, they've been having severe staffing issues and literally just could not continue that night. All right, fair enough. As I walk out, she notices my shirt and says, "Do you work at the pub next door?" "Why, yes, I do, ma'am." Then she goes, "I'll give you free food if you can stand here and tell people not to come in." I can absolutely do that. So for half an hour, I stood next to their door in a uniform for an entirely different business, stringing together stories about gas leaks and equipment breakdowns to drunk 20-somethings. The best part was half of them recognized me from the pub and just accepted that maybe I worked in both places. They gave me a bag filled with tacos and queso and a margarita to go in a cup and sent me on my way. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and we'll see you in the next one.